Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to Weekend Update. I'm Michael Che.
I'm Colin Jost. The publisher of Roald Dahl's books announced that they're altering some of his insensitive language, like the words fat and ugly, as well as modernizing his portrayal of women, which will mostly affect Dahl's beloved children's classic, The Fat, Ugly Wife Who Knew Her Place.
Republican insiders are concerned that the rivalry between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis could lead to a civil war within the party, which is perfect because they already have the flags. Hurricane Ian hit Florida this week, and Governor Ron DeSantis called it a 500-year flooding event. In fact, it's such a historic tragedy that DeSantis won't let them teach about it in Florida schools.
Florida governor and Dallas Cowboys cheerleader Ron DeSantis explained why so many residents failed to evacuate, saying some people just don't want to leave their homes, which is why sometimes you have to trick them onto a plane to Martha's Vineyard.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has proposed a new policy permanently banning mask mandates and vaccine requirements, saying, when the world lost its mind, Florida was a refuge of sanity. Then everyone in the crowd took a hit of nitrous and bit a cop. Georgia Representative and cocaine bear Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted, the country needs a national divorce, which makes sense because she is the most divorced-looking woman I have ever seen. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is releasing a new memoir called The Courage to Be Free. Even though The Courage to Be Free sounds like a Black history book, he's banned.
This weekend, bitter rivals who have been desperately pandering for votes and trying to force their politics on America will finally face off in person. I'm, of course, talking about tomorrow's Oscars.
Donald Trump accused Ron DeSantis of wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare and called the Florida governor a wheelchair-over-the-cliff kind of guy. Wheelchair over the cliff is also how Melania will finally get rid of him.
Rupert Murdoch this week officially turned on Donald Trump. First, the New York Post ran a cover calling Ron DeSantis Ron DeFuture, even though Ron DeFuture sounds more like a drag queen from outer space. Then on Thursday, the Post showed Donald Trump as an egg sitting on a wall with the headline Trumpty Dumpty, which had to be the easiest Photoshop job in history.
Donald Trump responded to reports that Ron DeSantis will run against him for the Republican nomination, saying, we'll handle this the way I handle things. So rough and without consent. It's okay.
Chris Christie's niece was arrested on a Spirit Airlines flight to Newark after she accused a Latino family of smuggling cocaine, then injured multiple officers by biting them and kicking them in the groin. She has been sentenced to life in the New Jersey Hall of Fame. And now Trump is threatening to reveal unflattering information about Ron DeSantis. For example, did you know Ron DeSantis is in charge of a state where some maniac was hiding stolen nuclear secrets?
Donald Trump said the results of the 2020 election should be overturned and called for the termination of the Constitution. Trump plans to terminate the Constitution by asking Herschel Walker to drive it to the clinic.
After the January 6th committee subpoenaed Donald Trump, Trump responded the next day with a 14-page letter. 14 pages. Okay, Unabomber. I don't know if this is a coincidence, but Trump wrote the letter on the same day the FDA confirmed the nation is experiencing a shortage of Adderall.
A deep-sea diver has announced plans to set a new record by living underwater for 100 days. I feel like the record is longer than that, said the people of New Orleans. I don't know why I thought that'd make you laugh.
And I just know from experience in college, anytime I wrote a 14-page paper in one night, I'd also taken a disturbing amount of Adderall. My favorite part of Trump's letter is the beginning because it's on really nice letterhead. It starts, "Dear Chairman Thompson," and then the first line is just screaming. It's like reading a Victorian love letter that says, "My beloved Winifred, who the hell are you having sex with?" A man in Florida said he was surprised when he heard a knock at the door and it turned out to be an alligator. Even more surprising, it was doing the thing from Love Actually. Officials in Berlin announced that women will now be allowed to go topless at the city's pools. But officials also said to be aware, it's not going to be the ones you want.
The committee showed a never-before-seen video from January 6th of a desperate Nancy Pelosi speaking on the phone with Mike Pence, which to Pence counts as adultery. In the video, Pelosi said that she wanted to punch out Donald Trump and knew that if she did, she'd go to jail and be happy. I assume because she owns stock in private prisons. According to a new report, by 2035, more than half of the world's population will be just how I like them. A photo has gone viral of a 98-year-old woman in Kentucky meeting her first great-great-great-grandchild. Well, I wish I had gotten to meet my great-great-great-grandmother so I could have told her, "Don't get on that boat!"
Insiders are saying that the House January 6th committee will refer at least 3 criminal charges against Donald Trump. But after this week, I think he's pretty much locked down that insanity plea. Semi-retired maniac Donald Trump has launched a collection of digital NFT trading cards depicting him in various costumes, including cowboy, superhero, and most unbelievable of all, guy who didn't dodge the draft.
I even tried acting during that one, man.
There is a trend on TikTok of people eating oranges in showers, claiming that it reduces stress and anxiety. But if you're comfortable filming yourself eating in the shower, I would argue you don't have enough anxiety.
Fishermen in Florida have discovered a 214-year-old clam that was born the same year as Abraham Lincoln. The clam credits his longevity to staying away from the theater. You never know, Colin.
Some owners of McDonald's franchises are reportedly concerned about a campaign partnership with Cardi B, especially the ad where they claim their burgers have a wet-ass patty.
Oh.
A new study finds that long-distance running does not cause wear and tear on marathoners' knees, but it does sand their nipples clean off. Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, seen here wanting to know if you or someone you love has been injured in a car accident. Met in person with President Biden about the debt ceiling and said they had a good conversation. It went so well, Biden let him pick a couple classified documents out of the bowl.
Wednesday was International Women's Day. I said was. Next joke. A new study finds... A new study finds that some New York City rats carry the virus that causes COVID, which is why I always order mine well done.
Well, guys, a genetic engineering company has announced plans to bring back the long-extinct dodo bird, but only for a limited time at Arby's.
We have the dodo.
Nike has officially cut ties with Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving over his anti-Semitism scandal. Kyrie says he's so depressed he might jump off the edge of the world.
Today was the SantaCon bar crawl in New York City. Yeah, the annual reminder that while Santa may exist, God doesn't.
I promise you won't regret it.
I'm sure not.
In Sarah news, this week I'm finally turning 30, or as Colin calls it, 15 years too old.
Come on. No.
What? When I invited you to my birthday party. You RSVP'd. I'm not gonna be there unless it's a quinceañera. A tunnel below Niagara Falls recently opened to the public for the first time in over a century. A musty old tunnel letting people back in after years of disuse. I can only hope, said my boyfriend. That's right, America. I have a boyfriend. Don't let the queer haircut fool you, honey. I'm as straight as Michael Che's update persona.
All right. Do you have any real news, Sarah?
Of course. In real news, the U.S. is facing a threat from a highly intelligent breed of pig dubbed the super pig, which is funny because super pig is also what Colin writes on my dressing room mirror anytime he catches me eating without his permission. Has received criticism for his casual dress, and I agree. Those cargo shorts and hoodies don't belong on the Senate floor. They belong crumpled up on my bedroom floor. Hachi-machi! Thanksgiving must have come early this year because that hunk is giving the turkey waddle between my legs